Hi, community. Today I'm going to talk about fear, and there's no better time. I've been recording a lot of these videos while we're in shelter in place in 2020, and fear seems to be that thing that's always available. Even if we have beaten fear before, or we have said the fear came up and we have gotten rid of it, it always seems to creep back in. Why is that? Well, because we're human beings. We have a fear or flight, fight or flight mechanism in there. And we have this fear that's always there. Fear is actually a good thing. And I have another video on turning that fear into your creative, healthy passion and drive. But when we have fear, what are we going to do about it? We can't just live in that fear. We've seen on our friends and our family and our loved ones what fear will do. It completely takes over and causes us to make all kinds of bad decisions. We don't want to make decisions based out of fear. We want to make it based out of facts. But we have to acknowledge that fear is in there. We have to acknowledge that the emotion is in there. But what do we do when fear creeps up? Well, I've come up with a twist on one of my mentors, one of my life coaches, Tony Robbins, talks about not negotiating with your fear. Don't negotiate with your fear. You can't say, well, what do you think, fear? Because fear is always going to come back with all these reasons why you should run and flee and go in the corner and suck your thumb, and you won't get any traction that way. You won't make any progress. So as we talk about fear, when fear comes up, and it will come up, it's not that we're trying to avoid fear at all costs, that, oh, I shouldn't have this fear. We need to embrace that fear. And when fear pops its head up, we don't negotiate with it. We have to train ourselves. And sometimes it's going to take over and over and over and over again. We have to train ourselves never to negotiate with that fear. Because if you get in a negotiating battle with your fear, most of the time we lose. Because the fear is so powerful, it's so instinctive in our nature that it's going to win that argument, that negotiation. So just we're not negotiating with our fear. So now, obviously, there is logical and healthy ways to figure out whether you should or shouldn't do something. So, for example, the healthy type of fear is if I'm standing on the edge of a cliff with no ropes, no harness or anything, and I look over and I feel that fear, it's not going to say, "You fear, shut up! I'm going to jump." No, 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 no. That's not what we want to do. That's that logical, brain that's going to say, "No, fear is a good thing at this point because it's going to cause me to back away from that cliff. Otherwise, I'm going to die." But let's say, for example, we've all been like this either when we were a kid or maybe as we're learning to swim as being adolescents, or even some adults that don't know how to swim or whatever. Let's picture a swimming pool and a diving board. And if you go to the edge of the diving board, we all have that fear. We all have that, oh no, what's going to happen? Like, this is the first time I've jumped off the diving board, or maybe that I've been in the deep end or whatever. I mean, I learned to swim at a later age, so I can remember that fear. I remember being on a platform in on the beach and being paralyzed. So what are we going to do about that? We have to not negotiate with the fear. Is that jump going to kill me if there's water? If there's water in the pool? No. No, it's not going to kill me. Am I going to die because I don't know how to swim? That would be like, oh no, I don't know how to swim. I need to take the proper precautions in order to protect myself from that. But if I'm learning how to swim, there's lifeguards around, my family or whatever's around to help me. I do not negotiate with the fear. Like, that fear is going to be there, but I'm not going to let that drive me and control me. So I'm going to say, all right, fear, I know you're there. It's okay. No problem. I've taken the precautions, but I'm going to overcome this fear because I can't let that fear drive me. So I am going to jump, and I'm going to trust that I've taken the proper precautions again. And it's the same thing with our money. If we go out there and are fearful about what is going to happen with our money, we're either going to become hermits, we're not going to do anything, we're going to be spending, hoarding money, all of these unhealthy things. So when it comes to money, when it comes to that fear of the unknowns, especially our income, what's going to happen with our jobs, we can't live in that state. We have to not negotiate with that fear and say, nope, I'm not negotiating with you. I know that I'm going to trust that I'm going to do what I need to do. And if something bad happens, I'm going to adjust to that. So, lesson for today, train yourself not to negotiate with your fear. We overcome by fear by going straight through it rather than around. We're never going to make progress going sideways. We have to go straight forward. And sometimes the only way to go straight forward is right through that fear. So don't negotiate with your fear. Train yourself and train yourself and train yourself not to negotiate with your fear, because it will hold you back from all the progress, all that steps forward that you want to take. You do want to take it. In our good times, we acknowledge that. In our bad times, we flee from it. So don't negotiate with your fear.